At some point in your life, a song did something to your body. Not your emotions, your body. Your skin tightened. The hairs on your arms stood up. A wave moved through your chest that you couldn't explain and couldn't stop. Scientists call it frisson. Most people just call it chills. And here is the part that should fascinate you. Not everyone gets it. Roughly 1/3 of the human population experiences frisson from music. The other 2/3 never feel it at all, no matter what they listen to, no matter how much they love the song. For years, researchers assumed this was just a matter of taste. Some people are more emotional than others. Some people connect more deeply to music, but that explanation turns out to be wrong. In 2016, Matthew Sachs, a researcher at the University of Southern California, published a study that changed how scientists think about musical chills. Sachs scanned the brains of people who experience frisson and compared them to people who don't. What he found was structural, physical, permanent. People who get chills from music have a different brain architecture than people who don't. Specifically, they have more nerve fibers connecting the auditory cortex, the part of the brain that processes sound, to the prefrontal cortex, the part that processes emotion, anticipation, and meaning. More connections, more information flowing between sound and feeling. The chills aren't a response to the music, they are a response to what the brain does with the music. But why does the brain respond with a physical shudder at all? To understand that, you have to go back much further than music. The physical sensation of frisson, the skin tightening, the hair standing up, is the same response your body produces when it is cold or when it is frightened. It is called piloerection, and in your ancestors it served a very specific purpose. When early humans faced danger, their body hair has stood on end. This made them look larger, more threatening. It was a survival display built by millions of years of evolution. The same mechanism that once protected your ancestors from predators is now being triggered by a violin solo. So why does music fool the body into thinking it is under threat? Neuroscientist Robert Zatorre of McGill University has spent decades studying what music does to the brain. His research points to one key mechanism: anticipation. The brain is not a passive receiver of music. It is actively predicting what comes next. Every time the music does something unexpected, a key change, a sudden silence, a note held just a beat too long, the brain registers a small violation of its prediction. And that violation triggers a dopamine release, not a small one. The dopamine surge from musical frisson is comparable to the response produced by eating, by sex, by winning. Your brain is rewarding itself for being surprised by sound. Think about that for a moment. The brain evolved dopamine systems for survival behaviors: eating, reproducing, escaping danger. These are the things that kept your ancestors alive. Music is none of those things. Music cannot feed you. Music cannot protect you. Music has no survival value in the traditional sense, and yet the brain treats a perfectly placed chord as if it were a feast. Psychologist David Huron of Ohio State University calls this the ITPRA theory: imagination, tension, prediction, reaction, appraisal. When you listen to music, your brain is constantly running a predictive model. It imagines where the melody is going. It builds tension, waiting for resolution. It makes a prediction. Then it reacts to whether that prediction was correct or violated. The greatest composers in history were not just writing music. They were hacking the brain's prediction engine. Bach, Beethoven, Ennio Morricone, Hans Zimmer. They understood, instinctively or deliberately, that the chills come from almost resolving, from nearly arriving, from the note that doesn't land where you expected it to. Research by Saike Louis of Northeastern University found that people who experience frisson show higher levels of something called openness to experience, one of the 5 core personality traits measured by psychologists. Openness to experience correlates with curiosity, imagination, and sensitivity to beauty. In other words, the people most likely to get chills from music are also the people most likely to be moved by art, by ideas, by the world around them. The chills are not just a neurological quirk. They may be a signal, a physical marker of a mind that is deeply, unusually alive to the world. The next time a song stops you cold, when the hair rises and the wave moves through your chest and you can't explain why, that is 2 million years of evolution misfiring in the most beautiful way possible. Your ancient threat response hijacked by beauty, your survival brain ambushed by a chord,